What's going on, everybody? NFL Week 16 best bets, touchdown scores. You guys know the drill on Wednesdays. Back with Jake. Jake and I had one of the most annoying ways to lose a collab play, Jake, last week. Can we
Bro,
talk about that
yeah.
quickly?
I mean, here you go. You tell me your thoughts first.
10 points in the first half, looking like free city, and then all of a
Absolute
sudden the
lock.
Dolphins don't know how to play defense, and then the Steelers decide to, take the last couple of possessions off essentially and let that game go over. That was just as annoying as it gets.
Dude, yeah, I know. And there was honestly 3 or 4 of my plays came down to that last drive in the first half because I had the Dolphins money line in the first half, which they were up 3-0 until that touchdown happened. I had Aaron
Right.
Rodgers under 222 passing yards, which he threw a touchdown pass and he ended with 224. So I missed that by like a yard and a half. And then obviously I had the under. So that didn't help the cause. And I had Washington first touchdown scorer. So the first touchdown scorer was kicked in that. Those points obviously ended up in the overhitting. The first half didn't hit. And Aaron Rodgers with that touchdown pass basically squashed at the end of the game, ended up ruining it. So it's easy to look back and be like, yeah, that one drive or that one play. But yeah, it was tough, dude. That was tough. I think we were on the right side, but it's not what the outcome showed. So
Yeah, all in the game. The market ended up closing at 43 and even 43 and a half some spots. So if you bet late, you got a winner. But like for Jake and I, which again, it's going to be right read wrong results that happens. That was unfortunately the situation there. But the best part of it all is we have 16 games to break down for week 16 of the NFL season. A couple of games that would be very important, starting with the game that we're kicking off with, Rams and Seahawks. This is for the king of the NFC West and the king of the NFC in general. Both teams 11-3. Davante Adams just ruled out. I think that honestly, from an NFL standpoint, they couldn't have been happier. This game means as much as it means for a Thursday night game. And this was a matchup when these two teams played a couple of weeks ago. Stafford looked pretty bad. Darnold looked terrific. That was a game on the 16th, ended 19-21 in the Rams' favor. And this now makes the game even more crucial for Seattle for, if they end the season a tie, they need to have that head-to-head, that one win each. But Jake, we have a very close market here. We have also a pretty low total at 42.5 because, of course, you have two good defenses. Seattle's being one of the best, the Rams being just generally good. Where do you sit on this NFC West showdown?
yeah, and on top of it being a good Thursday night football game, it's like this late in the season. It's a very good game, honestly. Like I'm looking at the Christmas games, and they're not looking too enticing anymore. With like,
When they made the schedule in May, they looked like they'd be sick games.
oh
But
yeah, of
that's
course.
why you play the season.
That's the hard part about it is like you really don't know who's going to end up where at this point of the season, and it's a prime time slot. But yeah, I actually have 2 plays in this game that I already locked in yesterday and actually got some good CLV. Obviously, this was before Adams was ruled doubtful. And I don't know if you saw it. Their plane is having like technical issues right now and is all messed up as of like 20 minutes ago. So that's kind of funny in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from the Rams offense, but I do think that the Seattle defense keeps them contained through the air and on the ground, especially now with Adams out. Same goes for the Seattle offense, though. I think that they struggle to have success through the air, and I do think that they have no shot at all at running the ball. Seattle hasn't been able to run the ball all season. We talk about that this week after week, like thinking they're going to turn it around, and it's a lost cause at this point. It's a huge divisional matchup. I just mentioned, and you mentioned Adams. He's officially listed as doubtful, but we know that most of the time that means he's no longer going to play. I locked in as I do have a best bet here. It's the under of 44.5. I got that at minus 115 on DraftKings last night. I posted it last night in the Better Process Discord. So you just mentioned it's at 42.5. Obviously, Adams being out probably helped that cause. But I did get this yesterday. I think both of these defenses show up. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Just like last time, you mentioned it was a 21-19 total, which would have been under this number. And there's also really bad weather in Seattle. I believe it's supposed to be raining with like 17 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts. So I really like the under as my best bet in this game. Another play that I like here is Kyron Williams to score a touchdown. I got that at plus 110 yesterday as well on FanDuel. With the bad weather, I think Kyron gets a heavy workload here. He has 8 touchdowns in his last 7 games. Plus money in this spot is kind of disrespectful to me. I think FanDuel was the only one that had them at plus 110 yesterday, so I jumped in on that immediately. But those are the 2 plays I'm rocking with here is the under 44.5. I think obviously 42 is a completely different number. I would still lean under regardless. I love my 44.5. I made it a 1.5 unit play, so I did think that I got a good number there. And then Kyron Williams scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a hell of a snag. I mean, having 2 points of CLV under the key number of 44, that's all you can ask for, really, from a betting perspective. I do have to ask you, though, guns ahead here, who's winning, Rams or Seahawks? I mean, this is a game where it doesn't, like, obviously not going to debate you on anything here, but I'm just curious, like, guns ahead, who wins this one?
I can't. Well, all right. Adams being out now is huge. That is huge. He's been having a monster year. Seattle at home, I think I'm going to give it to the Rams strictly on the fact that if it is that good conditions, I might take Seattle here. But under the weather conditions that they are, I think that the Rams are going to be able to run the ball more successfully than Seattle, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. We know that they could both air it out, but what are you going to do in 20-mile-an-hour winds and rain? So, gun to the head, I'm taking the Rams. Nice weather. I think I'm taking Seattle at home. But yeah, that's where I stand. I'm not going to even touch a side here. What about you?
So I actually probably agree. I think if I had to take a side, it would be the Rams. Looking at the stats from the last time they played, I mean, Darnold had 279 passing yards, where Stafford had like $150 overall. And this is a game where Seattle was getting kind of beat up in the beginning, and then they kind of made a little bit of a comeback. But we saw one of the worst performances from Darnold here, looking like the Darnold we know. That 4 interception pumpkin-esque Darnold game. We know that it's still back in his repertoire, and that was a tough one for him. But all in all, I don't have like a ton of strong thoughts on this. I mean, this is a game where like I think the market is on point of this being essentially a PK, but now we're seeing a bit more Seattle -1.5. They're actually like minus odds on the money line. So the Rams are the underdog of in this matchup here. Wouldn't go as far as to say wrong team favored, because I think at this point you can make a case that Seattle is a better football team. Like the Rams, their defense is definitely a little bit overhyped. Like they have shown in a couple of matchups this year, and we could take a look at them briefly, like they have gotten shredded. Seattle has really not gotten shredded at any point so far this season. And I think the quality of opponent the Rams have played isn't like going to be like too much higher than what Seattle's done either. Of course, in the same division, I do have a couple of rollovers there of the same guys that they go against, but I don't think that this Rams defense is as juggernauty as Seattle's. Stafford obviously having an MVP-esque season here, but I would actually still go with like the better quarterback, right? Kind of all things equal. Like no Devontae is going to be tough for this offense. Even Puka, what an animal, but he gets banged up like every single time he goes out there, and like him even playing a full game is like asking maybe for a little bit much as well. So no real strong thoughts here, Jake. I think that the fact that you got that under at that price is great at 42.5. Like we'll see how the line ends up moving, because maybe there is another entry point, but maybe not. But at the 44.5 is long gone. We see how the number is moved at open 46.5 to 42.5. So great work by Jake there. And unfortunately, a spot where I'm going to have to just kind of pass and enjoy. I don't even have a prop that I like. All the value has been sucked out of the board realistically.
I'm sure you'll find something in the next 24 to 48 hours, Eric.
I'll absolutely have like a first touchdown or something on stream tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, but utilizing the boosts, and I'll be watching the screen. So if something pops up, I'm locking that in. So make sure you're ready for stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. as well for all of this game breakdown. But that's kind of where I stand right now. But Jake, we have Saturday football.
We do, and it's not college.
We have both.
We have college too, but
yeah, we have both. But we have Saturday National Football League. Starting with my commies hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the commies money line last week, Jake. That was sweat free. You had the over. That was sweat free. I mean, the commies actually did make me sweat with some 2 late turnovers there, but like the Giants were never scoring. But the Birds got their swagger back with a shutout victory against the Raiders. Now we know that the Raiders are arguably the worst team in football at this point. Washington going with Marcus Mariota for the rest of the way. Totals at 6.5. Jake, what are your thoughts? Because I do have something that I like here, and I'll go after you. But I will preface that by saying I'm not betting my Washington. I'm not betting Washington this one.
Every week I wonder. Well, I know you bet them last week, but it's not like they were big
They
underdogs.
were still dogs, though. They were still
Yeah, that's true.
WTF, wrong team favored last week.
Correct. There was a couple of them last week. We'll get into that later in the show. All right, whatever. Like I said, we'll get into it later in the show. I mean, Philly should have no problem scoring, like on paper, technically, right? But we've seen them struggle versus bad defenses over the last few weeks. We saw them struggle against Chicago. We saw them struggle against Dallas, which at the time we were like, oh, is Dallas actually better after this trade deadline? But I think they've shown us a few things since that. They're still kind of the regular Dallas defense that we saw earlier in the year. And even though Mariota has been decent, the Philly pass defense is elite and continues to prove that. So I don't think they're going to be able to throw the ball here. Washington could see some success on the ground, but now question to you is C-Rod playing here? Do you know anything on that? I know he was questionable with I believe it was his hamstring or a groin. So that's nothing to really mess around with.
I think he should be playing now. Of course, like last week, he didn't end up playing. And, we saw what they did. They had Bill get the ball. I think it was 18 times on the ground there.
Yeah.
Based on the prop markets, looks like he's playing because he's priced at a touchdown at 135 while Bill is back up to like 400. So I would think C-Rod's playing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything that I locked in here. I'll lean Philly -6.5 if I had to choose. And then I had another lean actually on Bill rushing yards, but a lot depended on what C-Rod was going to do. I actually and the lines weren't out, so only the touchdown lines were out. But now that they are out, over 26. I don't hate it, and here's why. Clearly, Washington's packing it in for the season with Daniels being out. I mean, they kind of have been. They've been injury-ridden, whatever. But Bill's a young guy that I think they should give more burn to in an effort to see if he could be the reliable guy in the future for them / redeem himself from the mistakes he made earlier in the year. This is kind of that window where a lot of these teams, and I have it as one of my bullet points in, I think the Minnesota Giants game, where it's hard to gauge. Now, Philly obviously is going to the postseason, but these teams that no longer have any playoff hopes or postseason hopes, it's sometimes they change their schemes. Sometimes they start playing differently than they've been playing all season to play for next year. Not that I think that's what's going to happen across the board, but I think this is a good spot to give Bill some more usage. And I mean, 26 yards is not a lot. He can get that in two plays. He's still their leading rusher. He's still their leading touchdown scorer when it comes to running backs. So he's had the stats earlier in the year. So that's just where my head's at. They're both leans, didn't lock anything in, but you did say you have something here, so I'd love to hear that.
Well, I actually really do like your Bill over on the rush yards because that number is just so low. This number was even 32.5 2 weeks ago when he was a backup, and he flew over that. Or it was no, it wasn't 32.5. It was a couple of, it was one of these. It was this game. I think it was 26.5. Also, we got over with 32. That is 2 games ago because last game was the Giants. But either way, the thing about your point on Bill and I went on a little bit of a Bill rant last week. He fumbled again last week. He just the Commies happened to recover it, so it's not going down on the stat sheet as a turnover because it still goes on as a fumble, but not a fumble lost. But the thing is, C-Rod's still a young guy, right? The thing is, Washington's in a spot on the running back position where they have their third down guy in McNichols, they have their bully in C-Rod, and they have this kid that developed in Bill. So I don't think they're going to go out of their way to see what Bill can do. I think they have a pretty good sample size of what Bill can do. He's had a 111-yard game. He had a 96-yard on 18 rush attempts last week against a terrible Giants rush defense with no C-Rod. The fumbles are still a big thing for him, but I am curious to see what Washington does. But I think that because they have a veteran like Mariota and not a young upstart guy that they're putting in as their second string to show up is gonna really make Washington be this dog team. And this is part of why I bet on them last week against the Giants because I said, there's levels still, right? The Raiders are horrible, the Giants are horrible, the Jets are horrible, but the Commies are bad, but they're not horrible. And so much of it also is predicated on injuries. So for my best bet in this game, I'm going with the Commies and the Birds under 44.5. The Eagles, like you mentioned there, Jake, they do struggle still against good off defenses, bad defense. Doesn't really matter. Yes, they put up 31 against the Raiders, but the Raiders are with Kenny Pickett, can't move the ball whatsoever. I think Washington still is able to methodically move the football, get into field goal range, kick 3, or get sacked out of field goal range, which has kind of been their MO because the Philly defense is legit. On the flip side, the way that this game would go over would be if Philly does put up like 30 and Washington only scores, 14, that gets us to 44. That still doesn't get us over there. And I think Washington scoring more than like 17 is asking for a lot. And this Philly team scoring more than 30 is also asking for a lot. I mean, looking at their games this year, still 31 against the Raiders. We saw a heavy dose of Saquon regardless. 30 against the Giants, that's the Giants. 30 against the Bucks, the Buccaneers. I mean, we all know that the defense still isn't good. Or there was only 25, assuming the Bucks won that game. So still a bunch of situations. And then it's 33 against the Rams. Was on that kick to end the game that where I lost my Rams was 3.5, and that was no fun. So I think that this is two offenses that we know still want to run the ball. And that's just going to lead to a lot of ticking clock. If there are fumbles, interceptions, which Mariota does turn over the ball a lot, that's what leads to, these games going over like we saw last week with some turnovers on both sides. But all in all, I do think that this is going to be an under-S game with a lot of running. And I do have a touchdown that I like too. I mean, he is just like a commander killer. And I know it's a little bit square to say that, but I like Devonta Smith. Washington, all in all, like they have had their troubles with receivers, and Devonta Smith has been one of the best receivers going against Washington in the last couple of years. Didn't score the last couple of games, but even go head to head, looking at some big like receiving yards, like nothing too massive, but in the end zone this year, I think that they're going to give the ball more often to Devonta Smith, and I think they're going to be able to run it. They hit Smith down the field, and that's who I'm going with. I think at the current market, because AJ Brown's like 125, I think at 175, I'd rather go with Devonta.
You mentioned something that I also wanted to bring up that I didn't, is Saquon, right? Like it's no shot. Well, it is a shocker, but clearly they've been struggling to run the ball. Clearly they're going to make the playoffs, and clearly they want to be able to run the ball. Like these weeks, especially against teams like the Commanders or defenses that are a little more poor, is a great time for them to have something click there before the postseason. Like obviously the Eagles could make another Super Bowl run. I firmly believe that. We see this every single year. Like, oh, they suck. Now they're good. Now they're in the Super Bowl. Now they lose the Super Bowl. Now they win the Super Bowl, whatever. If they click on the ground somehow in these last few weeks and they have that going into the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team, dude. I mean, they're already a dangerous team, but I think they'll overemphasize giving Saquon the ball and trying to get that going, especially against a team like the Commanders.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. And Washington's done a pretty decent job overall on the ground. But the problem is, like, their defense just is out there all the freaking time. And that's what's, like, kind of killing them. And that's when eventually, like, the dam breaks and they're letting up a ton of, like, extra yardage and things like that. So I'm with you here. I think that the Eagles should cruise to a W, but I do think that the under is my favorite look for this game all in all. And I do think that Devonta Smith is live to get into the end zone as well, Jake. But let's keep ripping here. Packers-Bears, another game that is actually meaningful here for both teams involved. I know you have the best bet here, so lay it on me.
Yeah, so my best bet here is Green Bay on the money line at -112. Got that yesterday on FanDuel too. What's interesting to me is that this spread was -6.5 in favor of Green Bay 2 weeks ago when they played, right? And now it's a pick 'em. By the way, Green Bay covered that game. I thought it was a good game. Green Bay still covered. I understand Parsons is now out, but the only thing that happened, other than Parsons getting hurt in between that period of time, was that Chicago beat a bad Cleveland team, and then Green Bay lost to a 12-2 Denver team. So, like, is Vegas also weighing Denver as that bad of a team to have a 6-point swing here? So that confused me a little bit. At the end of the day, my best bet is Green Bay on the money line at -112. I think they're the better team overall. They have the better offense. They have the better defense. They have the better coach, in my opinion. And Jayden Reed is back. He looked pretty good last week. That's a huge piece to the puzzle on this Green Bay offense. The whole entire season, they have not really been healthy and had all their weapons. And now they do, minus Kraft. But, I mean, they're the better team, and I'm getting them at almost a pick 'em. I couldn't pass that up. So, Green Bay on the money line. It's my play here.
So we're going to be in disagreement here.
Really?
Chicago Bears. Yep. I haven't bet it yet. So again, like this is more for I guess for content, just for being on the other side. Not purposely being on the other side. And actually, my favorite look here is the under at 46.5, which I'll dive into in a second. But I like Chicago because there's a couple of things that you mentioned that I think are debatable. So one, Yes, the Packers won in cover, the 6.5-point spread. They won by a touchdown. That is, 7 points to cover. I even came on the stream the next day or the week after, and like I was like, damn, like I'm impressed with how the Bears hung in there punch for punch.
Yeah.
When it comes down to like a last team that's going to score, the team that scores, so they covered a spread of 7 there. But the thing to me is obviously Jordan Love's a better football player, but the impact of losing Micah is going to be big. Now, Christian Watson said he's going to play. That's also huge. And on the Bears side, Odunze and Luther Burden might not play. So those are, big issues. Love, obviously, the better quarterback. I'm so out on Matt LaFleur. Ben Johnson, to me, is like undoubtedly a better football coach.
I knew that was going to be your. I knew if I said that, you're gonna slightly. I think LaFleur just has more experience. I can't argue that this season, Ben Johnson, yeah, he's showing that he probably is the better coach. But
Ben Johnson's showing like top 7 potential in his first year. Yeah. So like maybe I'm glazing a bit. I know they have an easy schedule, etc. So like I was so low on him too coming into the year. So like again, I change my opinions when I do it. At this point, I'm actually completely flipped where I'm like, wait a second. I think Ben Johnson is like arguably going to be top 10 coaches in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I mean, we were goofing him when they were running these piss poor flea flickers for like magical touchdowns. Like, wow, they're really pulling everything out of their hat here in week 4 or whenever that was. And now look at them. Like they're freaking.
So this is also why like I'm kind of team Bears, but more why I'm team under. But like honestly, great segue to bring it all together. So the Bears were surviving off of crazy turnovers, winning the turnover margin on defense, and not giving the ball away on offense. And correct me if you disagree, Jake, but like we were sitting here saying that shit has to come back down to earth. You can't just do that forever. Like you're clearly not that good. You're getting all this lucky turnover stuff. Like you're going to eventually get exposed and get smoked. The difference is, 1, it didn't happen, but 2, that was all happening when Chicago was dealing with injuries to some of their best defensive players. And Jake, I spoke about this last week too. It's like the guys that they're getting back, they're not getting back role player here, role player there. They're getting back their best defensive pieces. So now these guys are back, and also Dennis Allen, like a proven like good DC in his NFL career, not a good head coach, but a good DC. That I think that the Bears have gone, in my mind, from fraud, terrible fade to like pretty freaking good football team. Not Rams level, not fully healthy Packers level, but we're not getting the fully healthy Packers. And also, Jake, you mentioned the spread being what it was a week ago and how it flipped entirely. But I'm also more interested in how the total has kind of flipped. The total is now 3 points higher than it was in that game 2 weeks ago. So as we see here, 44.5, it was at 47.5, that's at 46.5, still 2 points higher. I'm curious how both of these teams adjust with the, seeing a team that you just played so recently. Both teams have hindered offenses. Like Christian Watson is playing, but, he is banged up. Jaden Reed being back is huge. Don't get me wrong. Micah being out is huge. Maybe we do see this Bears team continue to pound the football. Like I am curious what the new motive will be. And I mean, we have a 47.5 here at Novig. I mean, definitely minus 118th is good enough liquidity. Definitely bet it there. But I'm not on the Bears. So like, again, I'm playing more devil's advocate with you. I do actually really like the under as like my favorite bet in this game. Absolutely. But I've kind of flipped on the Bears. Like 2 weeks ago, you're asking me the Packers are the best team in the NFC, maybe the NFL. In just 2 weeks, I'm thinking the Bears are taking them. It's just how it goes.
Okay, so who do you think has the better offense? Out of curiosity,
the Packers have the better offense. I think that,
I think they definitely have the better defense. Very clearly have the better defense. Even though Chicago is a little healthier, they're like a bottom 5, bottom 7 defense in the league.
With their there's not a sample size that claims that. Like with they're not.
They've never been healthy. Like there is no sample size. So one, how do you know they aren't? Look at last year; they were still trash last year. So like, where's the?
They have an entirely new coach, entirely new DC. Like they've been playing well in the last couple of weeks with the healthy defense. Like they've been playing well. Absolutely, I'll pull up some numbers honestly. And again, going back to coaching, like. Because I guess another big difference here is I don't think that Matt LaFleur is like the worst coach where like he's like if Ben Johnson's 10th and LaFleur's 11th. I've been anti-LaFleur for years, and I have people that I can hit up and vouch for. I did like kind of reconvert when the Jordan Love things kind of like started clicking again. I was like, all right, maybe I was just wrong there. But I shouldn't have even doubted myself. I think that LaFleur might actually just be like a pretty like below average coach, while Ben Johnson again is showing flashes, and I'm not dying on this hill or anything like that, of what is showing flashes of like potentially being like a top 7 coach in the National Football League already.
All right. Well, only time will tell.
And again, like I'm not betting the Bears, so it's not a situation. Well, I mean, not yet. I guess time will tell and things will move. But right here, Jake, since just week 13, things started getting healthy. So a 5-week sample, the Bears defense is now 5th in EPA per play on defense. Success rate 6th in success rate. Dropback EPA 7th. Dropback success rate 7th. Rush EPA still struggling to be on the ground, middle of the pack. Rush success rate 13th. So, like, yes, you can like still die on like the priors, but like the team has not been this healthy. The team is still doing really well. So,
But it's versus Minnesota. It's versus Cleveland. It's versus Philly when they weren't doing shit. Like I think that I get it. I like the numbers don't lie, but I'm just not bought into who they were doing it against when there's a Green Bay offense on the other end that's very good. That's healthy.
Packers put up 26 against Denver, which we both agree is an overrated defense. 28 against the Bears, which is understandable, respectable. 31 against the Lions, we know is a bad defense. They always play them well. Only 23 against that same Minnesota Vikings, only 6 points more. Only 27 against the Giants. Like we could play that game all day long.
But it's still more. It's still 6 points more, and this is a pick 'em.
6 points. I'm not fading, so like I could see it. I'm just saying that my general thoughts are that the Bears team that I was like fraud, dog shit, terrible. Now is like, wait a second, they're actually pretty good.
It's okay. I like when we're on the other side because then that means one of us is going to be right.
That is the case.
So it is what it is.
How has that turned out for you most of the year so far?
Oh, I'd say we're 50-50.
Yeah, we're probably pretty close.
It's not like we disagree on like many things, but there's definitely times that you've been right. There's definitely times that I've been right. I don't sit here and count, but pretty sure that the only time we put money on the table, I happened to win that.
We're talking about the Dolphins and the Titans on a thing. Now we then gave away money to the people because we're men of the people.
Exactly. I took my winnings and we what was that plus? What was that?
It was like close to 20-1, I think. No, it was like 15 to 1 ish.
Was it 15?
It's definitely over 10 to 1. I know for a fact.
Yeah. Well, because it was what a $20 bet basically that paid out like $350 or something.
So, I mean, I feel like I can find it in our text really quickly here. So let's tee up the other game, and it was 20 to win 333.
Nice.
And we gave away 50 of those bones to the followers. Shout out to everybody there. If you're watching on YouTube, also hit that like button, helps the channel grow. But Jake, so just recap for everybody quickly. Jake's on the under 44.5, got a great number. Kyron touchdown. I'm on Kami's Eagles under. Jake's on the Packers. I like the under a lot. Just haven't locked that in yet because I'm still looking for a good price. I was hoping it got to 47.5. Kind of missed it. Now sitting in 46. Like I'm still looking for a good number there. But Jay, we got the Bills and the Browns. Buffalo 10-4. Cleveland coming off their another Browns pure give up game. The Bills doing Buffalo things, continuing to stay in this hunt for the NFC East. I wouldn't say against all odds because of the freaking Bills, but coming back in an epic game in New England there. 10.5 points seems like a lot of points, Jake, but the Browns clearly gave up last week. A lot of these games with high spreads, I feel like you and I are either like nope, no notes, or one of us just like love the side and go there. Is this one of those games for you?
No, this is one of the games that I wrote like that I don't really have anything. The line seems pretty accurate, honestly, but the only thing I'll say is Buffalo does tend over the years, they tend to play like to their opponent's level against good teams, against bad teams.
I agree, especially on the road.
Especially versus the bad teams, right? Like they'll go head to head with some of the best teams in the league and win. We saw that last week with New England. They came out on top. But the bad teams, it's like they got to struggle to win those games or they lose. They lost to the Dolphins. They struggled to beat other bad teams, nonetheless cover. Plus it's going to be very windy in Cleveland too, like 22-mile-per-hour wind. So easy pass for me.
Can you think of a game in like recent history that has this big of a disparity between starting quarterbacks in terms of talent?
Oh, geez.
It's like this might actually be the pinnacle of like literally 101 to like 46 right here.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely up there. I'm sure if I think hard, I could think of something. But then the other thing is that the games that I'm probably thinking of that are comparable to this, I probably don't even remember the name of the starting quarterback because that's how irrelevant it is.
I mean, maybe Brosman, like even like Brosman versus Darnold, right? Like in terms of just quarterback, that's not like because Brosman's so bad, but Darnold's not Josh Allen, and Shedeur is obviously
exactly. We're talking about the reigning MVP
That's
And
playing like another MVP again versus
that,
one of the
that
worst
playing like
quarterbacks.
MVP. Exactly. So I mean, it's not like we're comparing him to some average quarterback, but yeah, no, it's been a while. There's definitely a big difference, and Josh Allen plays in bad weather all the time and is still like doing normal shit. So
His arm is ridiculous, just cuts through that wind like it's nothing. And this is full year numbers right now, EPOA, CPOA composite. We have JA, who's number 4. And then we have in 100 plus plays, we have Shedeur, who is dead last at 44. We're not talking 32nd, as in 32 quarterbacks starting. We're talking guys who have gotten at least 100 plays under center. Honestly, I'm even curious. What if you make this even like
dude,
20?
I think his average sack is like minus like 11 yards or something. I'm just making that up, but based on like, I don't even watch the games. I just get notifications. Shedeur Sanders minus 17-yard sack. I'm like, and then I watch the game. 14-yard sacks, 15-yard sacks. I'm like, what is he doing, dude? Just freaking throw the ball away. You know how many yards he would have saved if he just stepped up in the pocket, rolled out a little bit, and threw the ball away?
And when I was talking shit about Shedeur a couple of weeks ago, that was like the biggest point that I was making, is because in college, even at Colorado, not even playing like SEC level opponents, his problem was sack avoidance and pressure rates, allowing pressure and taking horrible sacks. And unfortunately, that has totally translated to the NFL in a big way. So we can like keep this moving here, unless there's a touchdown that you like or a prop that you're eyeing. But I personally
I got some good stuff here. I got some good stuff coming in the queue. So yeah, nothing. We can move on if you don't have anything.
Sounds good here. All right, let's keep ripping. Bengals Dolphins. So Quinn Ewers is officially starting. Tua Tagovailoa era is probably done for good, though. Of course, Miami's got a pretty penny to pay for his services. That being said, Bengals, of course, eliminated 4-10, ugly season. They're laying 3.5. Jake, I'll let you. It's your boys. I'll let you start us off and take us away here.
Dude. Well, this was before Quinn Ewers was listed as the quarterback. I was leaning towards the over. I still don't like hate it. I didn't lock anything. I'm definitely just going to stay away from it. But really, two decently explosive offenses, two mid to really bad defenses. It's going to be in Miami, so there's going to be great weather. I thought it was an over spot. Miami's offense did look pretty piss poor on Monday, though. But we know that was kind of a given with Tua in below freezing weather. So, yeah, nothing really here. But, like, I think this should have happened way earlier in the season. The fact that we were just we couldn't lose one of those games on that win streak just to be eliminated from the playoffs prior to this. Like, it's just this is what it's like being a Dolphins fan, though, Eric. And, like, yeah, you're a Commanders fan, but you guys don't really do this shit. Like, this is, I remember when Flores was our coach too. We were like 1-7, and then we had to go rattle off like 8 straight wins just to not make the playoffs, and then just like piss away a good draft. Like it just irks me. And then watching Tua, how many times is the guy not just going to throw the ball away? He's even rolling out. He's rolling out, and then he goes down while he's rolling out. I've never seen such a thing. Just the sideline is right there. Throw the ball 4 yards out of bounds. Like, it blows my mind, and he did it 4 times. I can't believe it. Like, that's all the CTE that has brain. Like,
it's also just a lack of like athletic ability too, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm happy. I want to see Quinn Ewers and what he could do. Yeah, Tua's got to be gone. I mean, they're going to keep McDaniel too. I know that for a fact. They're going to extend A-Chain. I like to hear that. Waddle's going to stay there. I don't know what they're going to do with McDaniel, but I do think they're going to keep them, which I'm indifferent about. But, I mean, if we can get a better guy in there, get a better guy in there. You know, like, the only reason we should keep him is if there's no better candidate. But there's always better candidates, in my opinion. So that's it. My rant's over. Nothing on this game. I hope Quinn Ewers is our future. And if not, back to the drawing board like it's been my entire life. Ryan Tannehill, Chad Henne, Tua, Jesus.
So expecting Quinn Ewers to be like good, I think, is definitely be a stretch. I know the next thing you're going to say is, well, they're playing the Bengals defense. And I will call out, though, as well, since week 12 here, Bengals defense not sitting at the bottom. They're back at 19th in EPA per play, so not like a resurgence like we're seeing with the Bears a bit. But the defense has quietly like become closer to league average than like continuously falling down the hole of being completely abysmal. So if you're a Bengal fan, at least you can like be happy about that, I guess, even though your quarterback is ready to talk about probably retiring and pulling Andrew Luck. So there's probably nothing to be happy about if you are a Bengals fan right now. But this is another game too, where it's just like a straight toilet bowl. And I am inclined to like Cincinnati here because like I don't think that like they're gonna give up. I think that we could maybe see like a little bit of like a like revenge arc in the sense of like Burrow comes out pissed off and torches this Miami defense that has been playing pretty well as of late. But when Pittsburgh does what they do to you, like that Pittsburgh offense, they made look like freaking like the best offense in football, and I really can't help you. And then on the Quinn Ewers side, so like in limited snaps, he has not been good. He's been having terrible pressure rate. Played well like in the preseason, and again, like the Bengals defense has like kind of stepped up to the plate a little bit more this coming season. So definitely a lean at 3.5. Definitely mad I didn't bet the ones that were hanging out there earlier this week before the Ewer news. So nothing from me either. And again, like a pretty big toilet bowl game between two teams that will not be playing football in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. By the way, no boots on ground in this game for me.
You're done.
Sold my tickets. They're gone. I might go to the Tampa Bay game after Christmas, but if they're going to sell for a pretty penny, then I'm just going to sell them too because I don't need to keep a trip down there for no reason.
Football's over, man. Start prepping the draft for.
I'll take whatever I sell those tickets for, and at least the Dolphins can make me somewhat happy because I'll just use that money, put it on a nice touchdown parlay, and make a couple grand. And then I'll be like, thank you.
That's the least the Dolphins could do to you for 28 plus years of pain that they've suffered, made you suffer through.
They owe me that shit, but all right, let's move on. It's funny because whenever we're on the topic or on the Dolphins games, I just can't wait to just move on from that game. So
it's funny because despite how heartbreaking some of the Commander shit is, I can't wait to talk about the Commanders.
Yeah.
Despite how it is, I'm like, that's like spotlights on. Like I'm talking commies. Like I'm always down for that. But let's keep it another ugly one. But we got the Tyler Shook show minus laying 4.5 against the Jets in the Superdome. I had the Saints in a lay last week. That was nice to see them come out and beat Carolina. The Jets with whatever his name is, Cook, he is dog water, and the Jets are obviously abysmal and are a joke. Brady Cook. I will say, Jake, that while I can definitely see why New Orleans is attractive, this to me principalistically is just like when you have two teams this poor, while again the Jets are probably in like that terrible dog shit realm or like like similar to like Giants commies last week. Giants are terrible, commies are here. Like they're both bad, but like they're still a better team. I think that same thing applies. The difference between that and this is I was getting plus money on the worst team, where this is clearly the right team favored, but is 4.5 points too many points?
Well, I kind of love New Orleans here. I think this is my favorite play on the Sunday card as of right now. And Tyler Shook, he has showed consistency these last 5 weeks. He has a he has a 70% completion rate and almost 240 yards per game in that span is what he's averaging. They're 3-2 in the last 5, with 2 wins over Carolina and a win over Tampa Bay. Like those are 2 teams that are much, much better than the Jets, in my opinion, even though, well, that just shows how bad the Jets are. And the thing is,
they're horrible.
But the Jets look terrible, Eric. And there's a difference between these 2 teams. I understand it's like a toilet bowl, but Brady Cook does not look good. And the Jets are just in shambles. They have been like really all season. I think the highlight of their game was the opening week against Pittsburgh. That game was absolutely lit. And we're like, all right, they might actually be somewhat of a decent team. Downhill ever since then. And then like New Orleans is on this weird rebuild momentum. Like they know that they're rebuilding. They understand they're rebuilding. They're playing hard week after week. I have a best bet here. It's New Orleans -4. I got it at -110 on Hard Rock yesterday. I think New Orleans runs all over this broken Jets team at home in New Orleans. I think they have the better quarterback. I think they have the momentum. I think they're going to play hard. Obviously, the Jets know they're not going to have their coach next year. I think it's a great spot for New Orleans to have somewhat of a blowout victory. I didn't think the words would ever come out of my mouth, but when you put them up against a terrible Jets team, I mean, I'm pretty confident in it. So right now, this is my favorite play on the Sunday slate. I locked it in for 1.5 units, honestly. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, I have no like full disagreements from like one. Shook looks like he's actually pretty good. The Saints, their defense has actually also been very good, especially in like short yards, third downs. The Jets have absolutely nothing going for them. Like that is quite literally a dead coach walking, a quarterback that probably won't even be in the league and will be selling insurance next year. Nothing positive going for them outside of really Brees Hall just being him. But I just can't get to Lang the 4. Like I could see this being like a rocking chair winner for you, Jake, where like they win 7, like they put up 17 in the first quarter, the game's over by halftime, and they win by a big margin. Like I can absolutely see that. But on the flip side, just like I guess kind of like the way I just bet NFL, to me, this is like buying the Saints at the top of the market where I understand why they're getting to this 4.5. And I understand like I see the pathway for them to just dominate them. But for me, in terms of like market timing and like price of like buying teams, like I think that I'd be buying at the worst possible time. So that's why I personally like but you couldn't pay me to bet the Jets, but that's why I'm not taking the Saints here either. Or I mean, personally, why I'm not taking the Saints.
Listen, like I said, never thought that the words would come out of my mouth that New Orleans is going to smoke anybody, but especially this season, especially how they started. But
I know a lot of people out there probably have some like Saints under 5.5 win tickets and whatnot. Now they got to sweat.
Well, and I got it at 4, and it's already at 4.5 in
the
last 20 hours. So is there any 4s out there, or is it officially 4.5 is the best price?
The best 4 is 115 Profit X in terms of rec books. The 118 at Rivers and 365 are all these are playable besides the MGM. Like 120 like is like the threshold for there is still value if you're getting it at 105 at 4.5, excuse me. So it's safe to say the market consensus though is 4.5.
Yeah, I got it minus 110 at the 4. So all right, cool. I like to see that though.
Absolutely. So moving on from dog shit to the next dog shit. Chiefs, Titans, Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunate. Nobody wants to see anybody get injured, especially not like one of the best players that this game has ever seen. Mahomes not playing, which you're going to see Mr. Gardner Minshew under center. Then we have Cam Ward and co. Now, this market has moved big time for obvious reasons, but it still is crazy to see how much it's moved as it went from 11.5 to now the 3. Rashee Rice popping up with injury reports. The Chiefs' offensive line banged up. On the flip side, the Titans, all 3 of their starting safeties are on the IR now for the rest of the year. So the Titans are playing a team of, I don't even know, like, I guess roster hopefuls.
They might find someone even better from their like practice squad, because I don't think that squad could get much worse, especially the secondary.
So that's a good point. Like, again, we don't try to handicap motivation because it's something you can't really quantify, and it's also not something that's going to really like price certain things in, but like we do talk about it because it is like relevant to an extent. If you're a Tennessee Titans football player and you're looking at this Chiefs team as decimated as they are, and you are a practice squad backup who has barely played, you know how bad this team is, you must be like salivating, like licking your lips to like get a shot at beating the Chiefs in this one. So I'm curious where you're at here. For me, just because there's too much uncertainty, there's more than enough bets on the board. So like I'm not even like, I'm mostly pretending this game doesn't even exist. But I would like, if you would have got to my head, I would take the Titans. But with that being said, like I'm not betting on the freaking Tennessee Titans. So I'm curious if you have any stronger thoughts.
Yeah, dude, I have a play here. So first of all, Kansas City isn't just going to like roll over and quit since they're eliminated. I genuinely do not believe that. We've never seen them do that in the last decade in general. Now, yes, they were always playing for something, but what makes us think that against the worst team in the league, they're just going to roll over and not cover a 3-point spread? And Gardner Minshew isn't that bad. He's been a starting quarterback for multiple years in the league. He's been in the league for multiple years. And we're talking about like the Titans here, who have arguably the worst pass defense in the league, plus all those injuries that you just listed. So it's a field goal spread right now. The Titans have been running the ball a little better. I'll give them that. But Kansas City is good versus the run. So I have a best bet here. I took Kansas City -3 at -115 on Bet365 yesterday. I respect Patrick Mahomes a lot. And if he was playing, the line would obviously be double digits. But it's not like they're playing a good team, and I don't think Tennessee will be able to score here that much. So a field goal with Kansas City, I mean, I laid it. I don't think we're ever going to get this line ever again in the Kansas City-Tennessee Titans game. Now, hopefully it's not under circumstances where one of the best players ever is out of the game because they're hurt. but I'm taking full advantage of this. I mean, Kansas City at -3, they're still a good team, regardless of what we said last week about them versus the Chargers. Like, I think very highly of the Chargers. Kansas City is still a good team in my eyes. They still have a good defense. Like, -3, I couldn't pass it up, so I locked that in.
And I can't even like debate you on that, honestly. Like, similar to like the opposite of like the analogy I just made with the Saints, like you're buying the Kansas City Chiefs at the absolute low. So like
Absolute low.
So I can't really like dispute that, can't debate that. So I just feel from like a pricing this game perspective, like borderline impossible given like all the like moving variables. But from like a general market standpoint, like you absolutely are buying the Chiefs at like the lowest of the low. Now, in both cases, right, like I am claiming that that could be the high for the Saints, could be the low for the Chiefs. For all we know, it could be worse, right? That the Chiefs could lose this game, the Saints could lose that game, and or win by 50, and it was never the high. I'm viewing it as the high. I could be wrong, but with that being said, I love to poke holes, play devil's advocate, but with that logic, Jake, you got me.
Dude, Gardner Minshew, when he was starting for the Colts, what was that, last year? Like, he was slinging the rock in the first 3 weeks too. Like, he's not afraid to just let it rip, air it out. Like, I don't think he's as bad as, like, I feel like Davis Mills was getting more respect than what Gardner Minshew is getting right now, right? Like, do you not feel that same way, that like some of these other quarterbacks that are just as good, if not a little worse than Gardner Minshew, have been getting respected differently than what he's getting right now? Like, it's not like they're playing the Steelers or like a decent team. Like, we're talking bottom of the barrel, probably the worst team in the league.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like the biggest knock on Minshew is like, which is true of a lot of quarterbacks, especially ones that end up being career backups, is they're just first read guys. Like, if your first guy is available, you could scheme it up. And going back to Miami for 1 second, like I like, and why I also agree with you, even though like the over you lean, but now it's a different ball game because of course you have viewers in there now. It's like Mike McDaniel, is going to be able to scheme guys open and like make life as easy for him as possible. Andy Reid is going to have him doing one quick look, one quick reads, and like going to be able to make his life easy. Then on Davis Mills' hand, you have terrible offensive coaching there, and somehow he still puts up 30 against the Jaguars and wins that game and like makes things happen. But honestly, more of like anomalies there. But no, I do agree. I think that like Minshew is like obviously showing some stuff in the league, but like he is rightly so a career backup. A full week of practice, not playing against the Chargers, like coming off the bench for 2 drives or 1 drive, whatever that was, is obviously a much different circumstance now against the Titans. So, no debates for me here. Like I could totally see, again, like you said, buying the Chiefs at the absolute low and not thinking twice about it.
Good deal.
Another nonsense game before we get into a fun one that actually has some implications here. Giants hosting 9 in MetLife Stadium. Now 9 is playing some good football. Blew up on my commies, smoked them, beat the Cowboys in a game where I know, Jake, I think you had Dallas in that one. I know I like agree, but I don't know if you ended up playing Dallas. But
yeah, when in the Minnesota Dallas game.
Yeah, Monday night, yes.
Yeah, I did.
On the game, 9 did 9 things, which apparently exist, and they won here. Now they're laying 2.5 on the road in New York. Now the Giants coming off an embarrassing loss to the Commies. Like everything's embarrassing for them. And this is again another situation where the Vikings are bad, but they're clearly not horrific, and the Giants are clearly horrific. I haven't bet this, Jake, but am I crazy that I think I love the Giants?
I don't think that you're crazy to love the Giants at all. I am in a similar boat where I would lean Giants, but I'm not on a side or anything. My head is right now is at Aaron Jones over his rushing yards prop. I believe it's at 56. I think only one book had it yesterday. Yeah, if you could pull that up. Yeah. I think, so this is obviously a 1:00 game, and this was one of the first 1:00 games that I looked at. Remember earlier when I was like, oh, there's going to be all these games where like you don't know how to really handicap it. You don't know if they're going to change schemes. These teams are eliminated. They're younger teams. They have younger quarterbacks. Like, how are the coaches? Some of them don't even know who their coach is going to be next year. The Giants, like, what factors are going to change where they're going to start scheming for things for next year and see strengths and weaknesses and things that they're going to have to improve on. One thing I think that will stay steady across both of these teams is running the ball. So regardless of what the scheme is, I think that Aaron Jones is going to get his no matter what, especially versus a New York Giants defense that is really, really bad against the run. So I think Aaron Jones to have 56 or more yards, it's a lean for me, but I wouldn't be shocked if it makes the card come Sunday.
No, absolutely. The Vikings also worth calling out. Jonathan Grenard, outside linebacker, now out for the season. Josh Metellus, also a safety. He's out for the season. Two good pieces on their defense. But to me, Jake, where I think that the Giants could have an edge, because it hasn't happened all year, but we did start seeing them pop off a bit against the Commies last week, is finally that young Abdul Carter and some other pass rush of that defensive line. And if Darrisaw, who is questionable with the knee, but he is hopeful that he'll play there. That was from 2 days ago. So for practice here. And Brian O'Neill, also their tackle. Like if they're actually back on 2 backup tackles for this Giants team, that's defensive line has underperformed all year long, but still has some talent. And Abdul Carter put in his best game by far as a pro last week against Washington. Then I think that we can be seeing a situation where we get shitty 9. We get 9 who's under pressure. We get 9 who's throwing terrible interceptions. We get 9 who is fumbling the football. On the flip side, though, what there is just like a massive edge that cannot be overlooked is just straight coaching, right? Like Mike Kafka is not coming back next year. He's been horrible, even in interim. And KOC is still continues to be one of the best coaches in football. So for me, like I could see it being the Vikings being an easy click in the sense of like you're taking the better coach, the better team, laying under 3, like kind of enough said here. But I think that looking at the Giants, where they're looking at their schedule, they're trying to like kind of find some hype and some love in the end of their 2025 miserable campaign, where they might be like, okay, this is the game where they do have an advantage, at least on the defensive line. But with that being said, though, it's just so tough with like Jackson Dart. Like both of us have been down on him. So like good for us for like, not falling into that hype in the beginning. The man has left 50% of his starts with a concussion. But I think that like I'm obviously not hoping he gets concussed, but like if we do get some Jameis in this game, like
I miss Jameis, dude. I miss Jameis.
I miss Jameis too, bro. And like, yes, Flores is going to come with some exotic blitzes, with might be hard for like Dart to decipher. But if we somehow get some Jameis in this football game, like I think the floodgates could like potentially be open here, and the Vikings can get got on the ground. And Tracy is back; he's playing well. Singletary's been playing well. I could also see a situation where the Giants are playing some complimentary football. Everyone is buying high on 9 after, beating the boys, which is not like that impressive at this point, and beating the Commanders, which is never impressive either. So no play yet, but if this gets to 3, I will say, maybe we'll see if there even is a 3 available right now.
I was just going to ask if you were eyeing up you just said that you're eyeing up the Giants. I didn't know if you were talking money line.
I was talking money line, but this 113 at Caesars is honestly like sexy. I'm going to switch on over quickly to PTO and just like see the rest of the market here, because this might just be a bet on. This might just be
anything under 3. Right? You would just take the money line though, right? If it was only 2.5s, if you had to, like.
If I had to, for like I honestly like, I'm not even going to say for the vibes, but like for the vibes, I would just take the money line. Yes. At that point. But considering the market here, Caesar's best price at 113 at 3. I love that, honestly. I love Giants plus the 3. Like I'm logging into Caesars on my other computer right now. I'm betting that.
He's in.
I'm in.
That's what the show is for, baby. You find something you like it, you lock it. Come on.
Find something, like it, lock it. I love that. Gotta be the slogan for moving forward here.
But at the top of the dome right there.
It's hilarious how like I will never bet the Jets, I'll never bet the Raiders, I'll never bet the Titans, but like fuck it, I'll bet the Giants, even though they're just as bad, if not worse.
You're just saying, the Giants are on that tier of terrible. That's why I bet the Washington Commanders last week. And now you're like, actually, I just talked myself into a Giants ticket.
Isn't that what's beautiful about the National Football League, though? Because that's just like how it goes.
It really is.
I just bet the Giants plus 3, 113 at Caesars. So for the clip right here, best bet New York Giants plus 3. Jackson Dart, regardless of his injuries, I think that if Flores is still going some exciting blitzes at him, the ground game should be good for the Giants. And on the flip side, I think what's his name? 9 is due for a stinker. It's been a minute. He's got 2 back-to-back good games. I don't think he's actually improving. He just has 2 great matchups. So give me the Giants plus the 3.
Love you say, what's his name? 9.
I think everybody here knows, but just to make it clear one more time, I only call him 9 just like not because it's like, oh, cool nickname or like whatever. I'm trying to show some like respect here. I call him 9 because that's the worst nickname ever, and I'm making fun of him. So that's why he's 9 forever.
It's pure like bullyage right there.
Yes, it is bullying. It's like I'm not gonna reveal it what a younger Eric might have done back in the day there, but like no, this is not 9 out of respect. This is 9 as in like you're a loser. That's why he's 9.
We're not calling him 9 as a compliment. Let's just say that.
Absolutely not, Jake. But Buccaneers, Panthers, 7-7, both sides. But guess what? That's going to be good enough to win the NFC South in some capacity. And
as a Dolphins fan, that makes me sick, but whatever.
All in the game, man. There's always that one division that is dog water, and it's normally this one. Sometimes it's the NFC East, but most of the time it is this dog shit division. And we're going to see one of these teams in the playoffs. But which team? We're gonna have to find out on Sunday based on who wins this game. I don't think it's do you know the scenario off the top of your head? Is it like winner like is in or like winner just has like
there's still 2 more weeks after this, right?
Yeah, so I guess I'm like I know it's not like winner is in, but I guess I'm curious like if you knew how much the percentages change just off like a win here. If you don't, off like
I don't know off the top of my head, but Tampa got them the first time, right?
Yeah, so I think if Tampa wins this, then it will be a lot more difficult for Carolina because they'll also have if they end up in a tie, of course, they have the head-to-head there.
But then it goes by divisional wins if there is a tie.
Well, did they play yet? Or they have 2 games? Am I blind here? Tampa against Carolina this year. They play twice.
Yeah, they still have to play each other again.
Oh, shit. So now we actually do have this is as good as it gets then. This is cinema.
Yeah. This is a huge game because like that other game, then it depends on what they do next week, obviously. Like if Tampa wins this game and they win next week, they clinch.
Then it's over. But if Carolina wins the next 2, then they're clinched.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. This is Goodell botched the Christmas schedule, but little did he know that week 16 that this was going to be one of the
We'd be looking for a freaking Carolina Buccaneers game. But all right, in this game specifically, I really do not know with either of these teams right now. Like, I wish I liked something here because it's a huge divisional game. I'm definitely going to watch it just out of curiosity of, it being a big game for each of them. But I don't want to put my money on either of these teams at the same time. So this is a stay away game for me. And again, like I hate betting the games where there's teams that have nothing to play for. And I know I have plays in those games, but I just really can't come to a side for either of these teams right now. I don't want to touch Tampa and Carolina. Like they're actually a wild card.
Yeah. Carolina is a high variance team. You never know what you're going to get with the Panthers for better and for worse. And on the Buccaneers side, I mean, it's obviously just been a straight down drop after their, fun start to the season. Baker's been horrible. I've spoken about that a few times. The defense is getting shredded up. And again, the Panthers last week I faded because back to like a general like market strategy for me, it's like certain teams, if they're a favorite, like I don't understand how they're favorites. This game that they're dogs +3 at home, I'm definitely leaning more toward taking the Panthers +3 here. Have not locked anything in yet, and TBD if I do. But this is to me like the stereotypical, like you actually are getting 2 teams that are like relatively even matched, and at that point, give me the team that's getting the field goal. And definitely. Yeah, that's honestly that's like the high level for me on this one. Nothing bet so far, but like I don't know, the Buccaneers, like they've just been so bad. And like I think I'd rather have the volatility of Carolina, the run game, which is Tampa Bay's been struggling to deal with. Like Rico and Chuba together is nice. Obviously, Bryce Young is due for a backbreaking pick here and there, but so is Baker at this point, right? So I think at 3, I like Carolina. Let's keep ripping here. Last game at the 1 o'clock. Very surprised this is a 1 o'clock game. My first time, I guess, internalizing that this matchup is a 1 p.m. one. But Cowboys hosting the Chargers. Chargers off a massive win, sitting 10-4.
You're gonna talk about that one?
What do you want to talk about?
Bro,
like, what do you want to talk about? A team winning a football game? Like, I still don't believe that. Like,
Eric, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for convincing me to just take them on the money line too, because
you're damn right. If you're going to say a team that's a 5.5-point dog is wrong team favored, WTF? Then hell yeah, you better bet that money line.
And I did it, and they cashed on both ends. They're the better team. They swept them on the year. They have the better record. They have the better offense. They have the better defense. How are they not the better team?
Patrick Mahomes will get hurt. They're losing that football game on that final drive.
Oh my God. No, they're not.
That last minute drive, similar, we want to talk about last minute drives of the first half.
They
That drive
didn't do anything the
changed
entire
whole game. And they were still 3 points down, ready to run up the field to take the game to overtime. And
no, if anything, they're kicking the field. If anything, they're kicking the field goal, and the Chargers are getting the ball back and kicking their last second field goal and winning the game.
That drive to end the first half to score for Los Angeles was awesome. That 5-play drive to get that.
Yeah,
touchdown,
that was
awesome.
I mean, they're due for that every now and then.
That was good stuff here, and the Chargers put the knife in, and they stepped on it and they twisted it. Now the Cowboys. They, as 6-point favorite, 5.5 point favorites last week, obviously lose outright on Monday to 9-0. But Jake, now the Cowboys are laying 2.5.
I know, dude. I mean,
so yeah, they'll hop in because we're both thinking the same thing. I don't believe in like trap games or anything like that, but like this is the one game I'm looking at where I'm like, the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Again, I think the wrong team is favored, but you just mentioned it. Like this one's almost too sketchy, first of all. Second of all, I do like the under a lot more. So I have a best bet here. I took the under 49.5 at -105 on FanDuel yesterday. And Dallas's defense looked like the old Dallas defense. I mentioned this a little earlier. These last 2 weeks versus Minnesota and Detroit, they really didn't look that good. But the Chargers offense hasn't really looked good themselves in the last 4 games or the last month, however you want to frame it. They're averaging a little over 18 points per game over that span, but I am very high on this Chargers pass defense, probably the best pass defense in the league right now. And I think they can cause a lot of problems for Dak in the Dallas pass game. The only thing that like somewhat worries me, but also helps this under is I do think Dallas might be able to run the ball a little bit. But that's okay with me. I'm playing an under. If they want to run the ball the entire game and they're not able to sling the rock, I'm totally cool with that. It's not like this is a low 42 number. We have it at almost 50, 49.5. So I took the under 49.5 at -105. I think that's a really good price too. So yeah, that's where my head's at.
So I'm not going to say I'm like perplexed or anything like that. Like I know like I'm not supposed to like odds are going to be odds. I do think this could very clearly be like a wrong team favored though at this point. Like it's not. And I'm just going through PTO here and like looking at the differences of prices. Like this 2.5 -110 at MGM looks really damn good. I'm not going to lie for Chargers backers. Going to like, there's no threes, obviously. A 2 at Circa, at Penny, 107, 105, the 110 at 2.5 is better. Then if we even flip on over to Moneyline here quickly and just look at some of the prices across the market, it's like plain and simple. Like this 120 at Caesars actually looks pretty damn good if you're interested in the Chargers on the money line here. I just don't really know what to think of it, right? Like the Chargers, like they're still letting Herbert get banged up. The offensive line still going through their problems, and like Herbert's a dog. Their O-line has been, bad all year because of the injuries, of course. Joe Alt, the rookie, whatever his name is, we know. Quentin Johnston questionable. A couple of guys on defensive line in the secondary questionable. Like maybe it really just is because like the Chargers O-line, like without their starters, because like now we're also at a point where like backups are hurt, so they're playing like third stringers in certain offensive line positions, and like that could be like the difference there, where like they're anticipating like Dallas to be able to get after Herbert like in the ways that we've seen Herbert get, even in games that they've won, but like get hit a million times, get sacked a million times, like take kind of a beating. And this Chargers defense, I mean, they've played so well. Part of me thinks that they're like a bit punching above their weight class, but like again, like it's been a unit that's been solid all year long. And this Dallas offense, like I don't know what to make of it. They remind me of Carolina in the sense, Dallas in the sense where like when you expect them to like finally win in like their favorites, like they lose and they stink. When you think that like, okay, Dallas is finally done, they pull off a big win. But then how does that equate to Dallas being favored here? So I guess I am perplexed at this line, and not in the sense where it's like I'm so perplexed, I'm like hammering Chargers, not thinking twice, but like I don't know, like I'm missing something here, and like I have to do a little bit of a deeper dive, but I'm missing something.
I mean, I'm so perplexed too. I'm so perplexed that it makes me not want to take the Chargers. That's how perplexed I am. Like,
well, I mean, I guess like, and like honestly, like obviously I give you shit for last week because like the market is saying 5.5, like wrong team favored. Like to me, I still think that's an egregious statement, unless you're talking about like week 1 or week 2, where like nobody really knows. End of the day, at the end of the day, nobody knows, but like that's another conversation. But like for this right here, like
It's the same argument, Eric. It's the same exact argument that I had last week almost.
6 points versus a 2.5 point favorite is not the same argument.
It was 5. It's like a 3-point difference.
Closed at 6.
Yeah, closed at 6. When we were talking about it, though,
the difference between like being over the key number of 3, being closed at 6, that's even more an argument in my favor because that is the most efficient line saying
it's the same argument at a different level, though.
In what sense?
In the sense of we're shocked at what the line is, and we think that the better team is the underdog.
I honestly, I lost my train of thought, but now like that you said that, I remember because like this is a clear scenario where I think it's different because it's the points make it different. But like if you genuinely think the Chargers are one of the best teams in football, right? You click this 120, you don't think twice. But like clearly there are market makers out there that are just like not that high on Los Angeles, which is definitely debatable when it comes to like this one. I personally don't know how I feel about Los Angeles because I think that while Herbert's great, while their defense is good, like I'm not saying because we know Herbert's choked in the playoffs in the past, whatever, like I'm not like pulling any of those strings or like saying that as like my backing to that. But like I guess clearly like there is some still love for Dallas, even at 6-7-1 is like not this is still like a good team in the mix, and like Los Angeles is like either getting disrespected or like again somebody actually does know something in this case that like we're just missing.
I mean, Dallas is also home. They play very well at home. They like have to win. I know we hate that angle, but you know people consider it like if they want to continue their season, they have to win this game. Similar scenario last week though. Kansas City was home. Kansas City already lost to the Chargers earlier in the season, week 1. Like so, and they had to win that game as well. And like the Chargers won anyway. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I'm on the under anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But
yeah.
I'd lie if I'm saying I'm not having some deja vu here from last week. And I'm like, am I going to hop on this thing and be like, the Chargers are the better team here? And Eric's going to be like, well, why don't you play them on the money line then? Why don't you play them on the money line? And like, it's tempting to not sit here and be like, dude, they are the better team. Why would I not take them on the money line?
So in this case, I actually think that same argument comes back. Like if you're like the Chargers are by far the better football team, there's a 120 at Caesars. That's the best price on market. That's standing there waiting for you. And I'm not debating you on this one.
I think I already have some skin in this game though too. If like I didn't like anything, I probably would have laid it. This would be a money line play for me. I wouldn't take the 2.5 or 2. If I can get a 3, obviously it's different. But yeah, I like the under enough to be content with it. And if the Chargers win, the Chargers win. As long as the under hits, I really don't give a damn.
Love that. Jaguars Broncos. This is a game that we need together. We need the Jaguars to lose this football game. I mean, you don't have South for Texans. You just have Texans.
I just have Texans to win the entire AFC. But I have Jacksonville to win the AFC South.
Okay, so you need now we're inadvertently on opposite sides here because I
had them to win the AFC South at plus 360 before the season started.
Gotcha. So you need the Jaguars. I need the Broncos. Broncos laying 3. Regardless of needs here, what are your thoughts on the game? Like for me personally, like I am in a spot where I have a big enough future on Houston where like I'm not going to be hedging. I have like a comfortable amount where I'm not going to be hedging, but also like enough where like I'm not going to like double down on Denver, even if I loved it, which I don't. But I am curious your thoughts, like unbiasedly on this one, because you do need a win here for that ticket. Like it doesn't change it, but like winning this game would really make your life a lot easier for that.
Yeah, no, it definitely would. But also, like, I'm not too high on Indy anymore. We have that game to talk about for Monday Night Football. I mean, like, they could totally lose this game and still definitely win the division. So,
well, if the Texans win out, the Texans win the division.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Like assuming the Jaguars win the next 2 because they have Indy and the Titans. If the Texans win out and they have an easy opponent in Las Vegas coming up, then the Texans will win the division. So, like, it is certainly in your Jaguars' future's best interest to win this football game.
Yes, yeah, I would love that. Regardless, I have a best bet here, and I'm on another under. I took the under 47 at -110. I got that at Hard Rock. yesterday again. I think this is a good, or I got that this morning. I think this is a good sell high spot on both of these teams right now. I'm not really bought into either of these offenses. I am a believer in both of these defenses, so I do like that angle. And both of these teams have been putting up points, right? Versus maybe one decent team each, though, and then a bunch of nobody's bad defenses. The good teams were that Jacksonville put up 36 versus Indy. That was pretty impressive. I think Indy's defense is pretty damn good. And then Denver put up 34 versus Green Bay. Talked earlier about what I think of Green Bay's defense. Other than that, we're looking at defenses like Washington, Tennessee, Las Vegas, the Jets, Arizona, and the other few games each. So I think 47 is way too high of a number. I think it's I'm not bought into Trevor Lawrence. Definitely not bought into Bo Nix. 47's a high total here for two teams that also have two really good defenses. So I really like the under. I locked in the under 47 at Hard Rock for -110.
This game should be fun. Like the fact that it's even priced at 47, like I don't like the over, so like I'm rooting for you to go under. But the fact that it's even priced there means that we're like expecting not just like a good football game at the terms of like the 3, but also like a back and forth game. Because we already talked about how we really believe that the Broncos defense is overrated. You were on that train early in the year. I fully came around. Jaguars were on the opposite. Like, I don't know if you still believe that they're like a great defense, but like even though their numbers early were like pretty good, I'm like, this isn't like a lockdown defense. Like it's not a horrible defense, but it's not amazing. And Lawrence, so like I do quickly want to talk about Trevor Lawrence because nobody's bashed him harder than like you and I have at times. Is there any belief in this little bit of a renaissance? I'll pull up the numbers here quickly of like what he's done the last couple of weeks, limiting turnovers, a 6 touchdown performance, yes, against the Jets. But like, is there any like backtracking on you and I, which like is not a bad thing? You should be changing your opinions when you get presented with new information. But like these last couple of weeks, I mean, that Cardinals game, you tried to give it away, but last couple of weeks, yes, bad opponents, but like we did see the instinct, the arm talent, and the athleticism that like made Trevor Lawrence a #1 pick.
Yeah. Well, even back when we were bashing on Trevor, I said, dude, his receivers are not helping his cause. They're dropping balls, which they're not anymore. Some of those drops
Myers have been nice.
Right? Like Jacoby Myers, huge pickup. I think the Indy game's very impressive, but I also think that he was so bad that it was only up for him. You know what I'm saying? I'll double down on the Jags defense. I would come on here week after week and say the Jags defense is there was like a little low moment of 2 weeks when they versed like the first decent teams of the season, or I was like maybe they were a little fraudulent, but they continued strong versus good offenses moving forward. Denver, yeah, I'm not like super high on them. I think it's just more of a fade of. I think Denver's defense is definitely better than the Jaguars' offense. Does that make sense? So it's not like I'm super high on Denver's defense. I think they're very capable and they are a good defense. They're a good defense at the end of the day. Not as great as everyone thought that they were, but I also think the Jaguars' offense, we can't ignore what we watched for the first 10 weeks, first 11 weeks, you know? So again, who have they just versed too? Look at those defenses that the Jaguars have been seeing. The Jets, Tennessee, Arizona, Chargers. That we know that they didn't light them up through the air or anything. That wasn't like an offense. That was the Jaguars defense scoring those points. And, you know, I think Trevor Lawrence had like 2 interceptions and like 100 and something yards in that game. So that's why I like the under. But yeah, I hope that like checked all the boxes on what do I think of Trevor Lawrence, what do I think of the Jaguars defense. Like I still hold strong. I think I've read this Jaguars team pretty accurately this entire season. I'd like to say the same about Denver, but like I've lost a lot of bets betting against Denver because I just like don't think they're going to win these games. And like whether I think that I was on the right side or not, like they pull some shit in the fourth quarter and they win the game. So I have to. There comes a time where you have to hop off that wagon when it keeps slapping you in the face.
For sure, and this will be last thing I'll add on this one before we move on. Like I will say that this will be like a fun.
Do you have anything in this game? Or
I have nothing here. I have like I said to start, like it's really in my best interest for the Jaguars to lose, and not because I want the Broncos to win or I think the Broncos are mispriced, just for my future. So I am going to root for a Jaguars L here. But it's a great coaching matchup. Like Liam Cohen has looked really good in his debut. Sean Payton obviously is fantastic. So I think that this like Jaguars Broncos, you said this 5 years ago, being like a playoff-esque game that's like laughable, but like in the year 2025, like this is some good football. I think we're in for there.
Yeah, I agree. I actually am excited to watch this game. I never didn't think that I'd be excited to watch our freaking Denver game all season, but
yeah, but here we are. And
here we are.
On the flip side, we go from talking about an epic game to talking about the dog shit Falcons in Arizona playing the dog shit Cardinals. So game high ass total 48.5. We know how bad the Cardinals defense is, dealing with injuries across the board. On the flip side, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins has been playing pretty well, all things considered, in his tenure there in his renewed tenure with Atlanta. Birds are laying 2.5 points on the road. And Jake, stop me if you heard this before. These are just the Atlanta Falcons are just not a team I'm interested in laying points with at any point.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times. And I mean, I agree. They fall into like the Panthers category for me right now, where you really just don't know what you're going to expect from them. I don't have a real side or like an over-under lean, but I am looking at Bijan props. The line is set at like, I believe 86-ish, around there. But if I do anything, I'm honestly just going to take his alt line for 100 plus yards. I think you can get that at plus 160 at Bet365. Really, it comes down to Arizona's rush defense has been getting worse and worse as the season has gone on. Bijan is averaging 99 yards per game over the last 5 games. So love to see that, especially if I taken him to get to 100. I do think Atlanta will be winning most of the time. Not saying that I want to lay any points with them. Like, I will co-sign your statement that you just said, but I do think they'll be winning if I had to guess. And that just results in more running. You have an older quarterback that's probably not He's definitely not mobile. And I did this with Derrick Henry last week. I played his alternate rush prop at 100 instead of the regular line, which he ended at literally 100. I shit on all the hooks that I get screwed by, but then it's those that make me be like, all right, I come back down to earth, and I'm okay with some of those hooks because they pay dividends eventually. So nothing yet, but if I had to go with anything here, I like Bijan to get to 100. He's a freaking animal, and this Arizona rush defense has not been it lately. So.
Yeah, I was scrolling through while we were talking. This Arizona Cardinals injury report is just disgusting with how deep it is and how bad it is.
It's been like that, though, for freaking
all season.
Yeah.
All season long. Gannon also makes some questionable decisions, in my opinion. At this point, though, with the Falcons laying the 2.5, like I think that the Falcons, like, I'll pose this question to you, and I don't feel that strongly about it, so this is not going to turn into like a big argument if you disagree with me. Who's actually the better team, the Falcons or the Panthers?
The Falcons or the Panthers? What are we talking when they're both healthy, like a healthy Drake London?
Both teams healthy, straight up on a neutral field. Who's the favorite?
It's probably the Falcons.
I agree. I think that's true. I really do.
I was high on them early. I took them to win the division. I do a parlay every, like a little parlay of each division winner, and I had the Falcons to win it, and I liked it early on in the season. I thought their defense was going to be one of the best defenses in the league. Penix kind of would show up here and there. But yeah, I think the Falcons, honestly.
I agree. I honestly agree. Season didn't go as planned, because when does it ever go as planned for the Dirty Birds down there? But no, I agree. And like, honestly, that kind of made me interested in Atlanta minus 2.5, because it's like, now I'm like backtracking my thoughts. Like, is Atlanta really that bad? Like, we know Arizona's like been pretty beat up. This was a home game and this was flipped. It was 2.5. I think I would click Atlanta, like, no hesitation. Yeah. But at this point, for me, that's a layoff here. Got 4 more games, Jake. Another pretty garbage game, and you already know what I need here. I need the Texans to win this outright as a 14.5 point favorite. It'd be great if they do. All right, Jake. Another question: Raiders versus Titans on a neutral. Who's Raiders versus Titans on a neutral? Who's favored? So I think the Raiders might.
Or who wins?
Well, like, if you're saying a team's a favorite,
if I'm the bookmaker, I'm favoring Tennessee because
Yes, I
does
agree.
Vegas even want to win? Like, I don't even think they want to win. What do they have? Freaking 6 points in the last month? I don't.
I think the Raiders, like we've talked about the Titans, obviously, like, it's potato for like who's the worst team. But like if I had to make a list right now, like not power ratings aside, like because they'd be rated just as low, but like ranking, I had to rank a 1 to 32. I'm putting Las Vegas at 32.
That they're 32, 33, and 30. They're I think they are by far the worst team in the league. And like Tennessee, it's almost like I don't want to compare them to New Orleans, but they're gonna keep playing. I don't think they went into this season thinking, hey, you know what? We're gonna go win the division this year with all these young guys with what they were working with. Like I think they just knew like this was maybe not gonna be as bad as it turned out, but they're still gonna play. Like Vegas, Geno Smith has just been god awful. You have the hype around Pete Carroll. Your defense is just terrible, like absolutely awful. You can't score a point. It's kind of embarrassing.
It's beyond embarrassing. They tried Chip Kelly from Ohio State, make him the highest paid coordinator in football, and they fire him. Well, with cause, like he deserved to be fired, but they fired him 4 weeks ago at this point.
You could tank with like some sort of integrity. I'll tell you that much. Like they're just. But
the worst part is right. Like they were never attempting a tank. Like they were coming into this season as like we're gonna compete.
Yeah,
and they have 2 wins,
and one of the wins was versus New England. That's crazy.
I mean, I had the Raiders week 1 in that game.
Yeah, and well, listen, I'm not saying they came into this season like, oh, we're gonna tank this year. I think like the last month they came to the conclusion, unlike what my Dolphins couldn't do and what your Commanders can't do, is just like be like, ah, screw it, we're just gonna tank and plan for next year. Like
that's because players will never ever tank.
I know that, but we've gone over this. Coaches can clearly tank. You think Pete Carroll is secure in his job?
I think Pete Carroll doesn't know where he is. I think he's senile and needs to go to a retirement home.
Starts running into the wrong freaking tunnel.
I think he's got to pull a Biden and walk in like it's hang out on the Texan sideline and be confused where he's at.
Like, all right, guys. All right.
Yeah, like I don't think
I think wrong locker room.
I don't know what it is, but long story short, Jake, back to the matter at hand
on
here.
Us for talking about Pete Carroll like that, but
legends, but like every dog has their day.
Like Brett
Texans cover comfortably. That game was over 5 minutes into the first quarter. Against Arizona at home. Again,
I have nothing for this game, by the way, Eric. So take it away. I literally have NOTHING written down.
The only thing I'll say here, keep it short and sweet, is that with Houston, like my concern last week was their ability to win by margin at 10 points because like the offense still which I still do believe, even though we have Houston tickets and like I wish the Texans nothing but success moving forward, is that there's going to be a situation where a team does score 21 on them and this offense struggles to score 24 and they lose even though the defense is amazing. That team will absolutely not be the Las Vegas Raiders. We saw what Philly did to them last week. CJ Stroud's got a little bit of his swagger back, and this defense is, everything that we know and love. And there's nothing that I want more than to see the standings on Sunday night, seeing Jaguars 10-5, Texans 10-5. That would make my Sunday a success among all things there, Jake. But
more games. I'll add too, Eric, before we move on from Houston. Look at the teams they're beating, man. Like, it's not even like we could sit here and be like, oh, man, we're worried about their offense. Like, I'm not. They're beating freaking, obviously, Arizona, Kansas City, Indy, probably one of the best defenses in the league. Buffalo, good pass defense, terrible run defense. Like, they're beating top contenders in the league. And, well, I guess Indy was. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these teams that we're talking about, they're not having these impressive wins and they're playoff bound. You know, like Houston, they're going to get into the playoffs and they're going to be used to playing like a high caliber team, you know? So
I bet them to win the South, and that's why I bet them to win the AFC.
When did you take them to win the South, though? You took them mid-season or before?
No, I took them to win the South the day before the Colts game. And then they won against the Colts, and then I took them to win the AFC the day after the Colts game, after the night of them beating the Colts. I wish I bet them both at the same time because that AFC championship ticket's 13-1. That South ticket is 7-1.
Yeah. Still nice.
Absolutely. So we can move on there. Enough said. Let's go Texans. Steelers Lions. Now this game still interesting. I mean, Detroit, they have some work to do here. Probably need to win out if I'm not mistaken, because they're definitely not eliminated yet. And what's better for them, the Packers winning or the Bears winning on Saturday? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Bears winning is most beneficial for them, and Detroit winning, because then
Bears go to 11-4, then the Packers go to 9-5-1. If the Lions win, then they're 9-6. So yeah, the Bears winning is probably more beneficial. That's right, go Lions. That's right, go Lions. Lions land 6.5 against the Steelers, coming off an impressive win in that matchup against the Dolphins. Finally getting the offense going, a little bit of Aaron Rodgers swagger, but again, we have the Tampa Bay the Miami Dolphins playing in cold weather, all that nonsense. Lions win out and Bears beat the Packers. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. That's the ideal scenario for the Lions faithful for the playoff hopes right then and there. Jake, 6.5 points. Too much, too little? What are your thoughts here?
So one thing I do think is we will see scoring here. I mean, the total's at 52 for a reason. I'm so torn between a side, because Pitt really hasn't given me a reason to think that they'll lose this game by more than a touchdown. They've handled business as of late. They beat Miami handedly. They beat a healthy Baltimore team. They lost to Buffalo, but their defense actually played well in that game. Like, they were winning at halftime. So it's not like that final score dictates exactly how that game went. And then a close loss to Chicago, a blowout win over Cincinnati. So, like, it's not like this is a 3-4 point spread here. 6.5, 7. But at the same time, Detroit hasn't given me a reason to not want to lay the touchdown with them. You know what I mean? I mean, they had a tough loss to the Rams, but they hung 34 versus a very, very good defense. They beat a good Dallas team. They lost to Green Bay by a score. So I don't really have a side here. I think the total is a little high. I would lean over. But my main lean here is actually Kenneth Gainwell to score a touchdown at plus 160 on Hard Rock. I do think that there's going to be a lot of scoring, and Gainwell could be used both on the ground and through the air. We saw a lot of usage last week from him in a game that was primarily on the ground in those conditions. So to get him at plus 160, I think a lot of books have it at much lower than this, plus 110, plus 120. Yeah. Hard Rock randomly has it at plus 160. So I like that. I might lock that in right when we get off stream here, but because I don't want it to go away if Hard Rock starts trending towards the rest of the lines. But that's where I stand.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty well broken down. I'm with you where I think the Lions do take care of business. I like the 6.5, honestly. Like I think it's like very like fairly priced. I think that they are a touchdown favorite, and I think that the market is like on point here. And because the thing about the Steelers is like they've had some like good offensive games where Rodgers looks pretty good. They also had some games where it's like, what the hell are they doing there? And this Lions defense, we know, is like beatable. We're on the turf too. We know that Rodgers loves playing in Detroit with his time in Green Bay as well. He'll probably get some memories going. But I actually like, for a tutty here, I like DK. The secondary has been pretty beatable for Detroit, and like DK, they're just going to throw him the go ball and like that one-on-one option in the end zone too. And this is 170 here at DraftKings. That's the best in market. I like DK to score this year. I mean, he's been there by far the most reliable touchdown scoring option here. And the total is so high. I don't think that the Steelers are in a situation where they get like shut out. And even in a blowout, I do think it could be a DK situation. But on the flip side also, if we're going to go with another touchdown, I love JMO here. Because this Steelers secondary, like they have where's Jameson? There he is. This Steelers secondary has still just not been great this year. I mean, they've allowed like a ton of receiving yards overall. Against wide receivers, touchdowns have been limited a bit, but like this could be like a hot take, or maybe I'm like big braining and overthinking, but I don't think I am. Like this Steelers team, looking at who they play, I mean, all these games, right? Like outside on grass, and now they're playing in the dome. I don't know that they're gonna be like ready for that breakaway Jameson Williams speed, for that breakaway Jahmyr Gibbs speed. Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. He didn't score last week for that record. He will be in every single one of my touchdown parlays as well. Even though he's at minus 250, I don't care. He's going in those touchdown lays as hopefully like a free square there. I think it's very possible that like while the market is like, I'm not saying that there's an edge here. Like I think the market is like very fairly priced, but I do think that like the edge could be that like now the Steelers are going to be playing this like great offense in their element on turf, and like it might be a little overwhelming for that defense.
No, yeah, I could totally see that. I see lots of touchdowns being scored, so I'm not even opposed to taking. I was looking at DK Metcalf too, because I think that price just isn't fair. But for all the same reasons you just mentioned, so we'll see. Lots of touchdowns. It's going to be a great SGP type of game.
Absolutely. Let's keep rocking here. Two more games, both primetime. Patriots, Ravens, arguably the game of the week here. Ravens need nothing more than a Lions win and obviously a W here. Ravens are favored, laying 2.5. Lamar did not practice today, but he has not practiced on a Wednesday in 6 weeks. But has that really been good for them? I mean, we had a vintage Lamar game last week. Lamar did play very well in that one. But the Patriots, they lose a tough one to Buffalo. Amazing first half. Can't hold it in the second half. And now they are dogs to the Ravens here. Even if we don't have anything strong thoughts here, we definitely need to have some thoughts here just because of the magnitude of this matchup here. But
I have some strong thoughts, actually.
Okay, good, perfect. Lay them on me first because I have some pretty strong thoughts as well.
All right, cool. I wonder where we're at. I think New England wins this game, Eric. Mm-hmm. Baltimore has just been super inconsistent, and they haven't played a good team since Chicago, like 2 months ago. They played Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago and lost. So weigh Pittsburgh how you want. Like I don't consider them a good team or a great team by any means. Other than that game, they saw Cincinnati twice. They lost to Cincinnati one of those times. They saw the Jets, they saw the Browns, they saw Minnesota, and they saw Miami. And then they saw Chicago. And then before that, they had a decently hard schedule. Chicago, Houston. And we know how they started off. They didn't win many of those games. So they lost one of those games to Cincinnati, looked terrible versus the Jets. I remember watching that game because I had Baltimore minus 13.5, and they didn't cover the spread. They're lucky to even won by 13. And then they look terrible versus the Browns too. So New England is coming off of a very close loss to like a good Buffalo team. That was a great game. And then they had their 10-game winning streak, which weren't versus the hardest teams. We go through their schedule all the time saying that strength of schedule isn't anything great, but they took care of business. And New England has the better pass attack. I really like how their run game has been coming along. There was like spurts of it. Earlier in the year, they were terrible. Then they showed like a little flash of what they're capable of doing with Travion Henderson. Then they had a game or two where that kind of hit the back burner again. But now they're back. And I think that they've showed us that they can run the ball. The one thing that does worry me about Baltimore is their run game as well. I think that they're going to be able to run the ball on this New England defense. But overall, I think New England is the play here. I would take them on the money line at plus 136 on DK. I haven't done that yet, but it's very, very tempting to me, Eric. Let me say that much. I don't know. And I would say this is even less sketchy than the Chargers game that we were just talking about, where like I could see why people would think Baltimore should be the favorite here and New England shouldn't. But my eggs are in the New England basket for this game if I do go anywhere, and I'm just taking them on the money line if I do.
I agree with you. Honestly, I'm with you on the Patriots. Like, I also do agree with like this isn't to me even like perplexing. I think I completely understand why Baltimore is favored here.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think that the Patriots are just proven that like they are like legitimate. They can absolutely win the East. They can absolutely win the AFC as well. They could absolutely represent the AFC in the Super Bowl at this point. And this is their biggest test of the year outside the two Buffalo games. This is the only non-division opponent they're playing that's actually good. And I mean, like you said, we've gone through the quarterbacks they played, the teams they played, the strength of schedule many, many times here. But I think that while like the Patriots defense is like definitely not as good as like the numbers just because of who they've played, that it's still a formidable unit. The Ravens haven't had any mojo kind of all year long. And like, yes, Lamar had one of his better games last week. I mean, we'll pull up some of the numbers quickly here as well. But like,
dude, he's hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, he does not look the same.
No, he does not. I mean, only 2 rushing touches on the year, passing yards. I mean, even only 150 against Cincinnati. Didn't need to do it with what King Henry was doing, but did still make some great decisions. And Lamar is a dog. I want anyone listening thinking that I'm like saying Lamar Jackson isn't one of the best football players out there. He absolutely is. But all that being said, like I think that like this is like two like teams that are trending complete opposites. And I don't think that back-breaking loss to Buffalo was like a season killer, a full momentum killer to the Patriots or anything like that. I just think that's what happens when you play a good team. Like, you're going to lose to a good team, like here and there. And yes, that could be replicated against this Ravens team. But at this point now, how New England is and how they've done all year, I'm not like, I know we've talked about wanting to fade Chicago, fade New England at certain points, etc. It's very different. If New England was laying 2.5, I'm betting Baltimore unquestionably. But because they're the dogs in the situation, to me, it's a Patriot spot, especially because it's a 3 too. Like, there are 3s, which I pulled up before. Like, you can get a 3 at 115, at 113, even at Caesars. Like, Patriots plus a 3 looks very interesting to me and very enticing.
Old Dominion's winning this game. Let's go.
Let's go. Some bowl season stuff.
Bowl season.
I mean, great weekend of college football. Great week. I mean, Ohio State plays on what, like Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
no,
well, today's Wednesday.
There's some next Wednesday, of course.
Yeah. Friday, there's the first round of the playoffs is this weekend. Friday, it's JMU, Oregon. Miami plays on Saturday. Dude,
So
the J-ball fight's on Friday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good weekend for sports.
Good weekend for sports. With as it all comes down, we got some football, we got some stuff going on. But Jay, let's finish up with our last game of the week, and it is the Indianapolis Colts. Philip Rivers led, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners have just been hanging around all year. All the talk about the Rams and the Seahawks, but the Niners are freaking 10-4, man. And Philip Rivers almost pulled off the impossible, but like, that pick was just like hilarious to end the game. Like, that was just like so coming, even though Rivers did throw for a touchdown, threw for $120. The Niners, though, we've talked about this a few times, Jake. This defense is abysmal. Like, it really is not good. It is so bad. I saw a stat that the Titans last week, even though they obviously lost and didn't cover, that like they had like a 60% success rate on like designed runs. And this is a Titans team that can't run at anybody, can't do anything against anybody. And they were able to have like sustained success against the Niners defense. Now I think the blueprint is clearly out, right? Like, it should have been out the entire time, but like Seattle, first time seeing Rivers, like, you don't have to screw any safeties past like 15 yards. Like, keep everything 15 yards ahead of you.
Throw it that far.
Stack the box for Taylor. Though I think Rivers can still pick his spots. He needs to throw like 125-yarder, like he can, but he's definitely a step behind. Long-winded way of saying, though, I love the Colts +6.
Wow.
Love the Colts +6.
The locked and loaded?
Not locked and loaded, but I was staring at it all day. This 5.5. There's definitely 6 out there. Maybe there's 6.5. But this is definitely something that's going to like be making my card. There is a 6.5. If you get the 7, I mean, I'll be mad at the market move. But this 110 at MGM here, Colts +6.5. And it goes back to what I was just saying with the run game. Like, Jonathan Taylor, if Tony Pollard and co can have success with Cam Ward, who's obviously like not having a great rookie year, I think that Jonathan Taylor and co with a Shane Steichen-led offense can continue to have like first read, good, easy looks to Josh Downs, to Michael Pittman and JT, and also Abdallah, who was playing really well out of the backfield for them as well. It's like a third down option, a little bit of a pass catcher there, pass protection. That the Colts will be able to move the football like a lot more efficiently than they could against Seattle, which is one of the best defenses in the league. Now, on the flip side, we know Purdy struggles throwing the ball deep. Lou Anarumo's done a great job with his defense. His defense clearly has not quit. And we know that Purdy could be a turnover machine at times. And I think that this could be a game where I'm not calling Indy outright, but I do think that there will be enough potential turnover, enough potential variance that will actually, in a lot of ground and pound, that is beneficial to the Colts, where I think that Indianapolis covering 6.5 is a great bet. And I didn't say I think they'll win. I'm not going to sprinkle, but like if we're on stream next Wednesday, or I mean Wednesday's Christmas, we'll figure out our stream schedule for next week. But if we're on stream talking next time, Jake, and the Colts won this football game, I would not be that shocked.
Yeah, and so another team I have a future on, San Fran, to win 11 games. So I'm indirectly on them. I don't have any super strong feelings. I do. This is the thing. I think Indy's just cooked. Like, I feel like their soul has been taken out of them in a way.
I don't know, though, bro. The way their defense played and their offensive line.
I'm getting there. it's a shame because their defense is actually playing like their defense keeps going like this. They're playing at an elite level, but dude, their quarterback room isn't there. That's the most important part of the team, arguably. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to cover the 6.5 because San Fran shouldn't be able to run the ball at all. And I'm not impressed with their recent play, even though there's a lot of people saying Brock Purdy's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks. They're playing so good. It's been versus Tennessee, Cleveland, Carolina, and Arizona. So I'm not sitting here like on their high horse either. Obviously, I hope they get the win because I have them to have over 10.5 wins on the season as a future. But with that being said, I would lean San Fran minus 6.5. I don't want to lay it either way. It's just a super lean gun to the head type of play. But I think Indy was low-key getting a little inflated even when they had Daniel Jones, and they were just like, there was that 3-week span where they just couldn't do anything but turn the ball over, not score. And their defense at the time was playing the best their defense is playing, so there's a lot of frustration when that's the case, though. Like when you have a team, their defense is so elite, their offense can't do anything in the world, like not saying there's locker room animosity or anything that's been going around. I'm not starting a rumor, but that shit is so annoying when half of the team is doing their part and the other half just cannot figure it out. But I could totally see Phillip Rivers doing the same thing, dishing a couple check downs, throwing it to Josh Downs real quick, giving Pittman a jump ball here and there 20 yards downfield. I think it's very possible. So all that being said, I got absolutely nothing on this game, indirectly rooting for San Fran, but that's that.
And like the finishing touch for me and like the final statement on this game is just, it comes down to like the Niners are just not a team I'm comfortable laying margin with because of how bad their defense is. Yeah. Like, yes, last week it ended up not mattering, but again, we're talking about them playing at home against the Titans. Whereas, like, asking a defense this bad, even with how bad, like, Rivers kind of was, but also, like, not that terrible at all. And the run game Indy's pulling out against them, and the defense that Indy is not going to be able to put against, like, Brock Purdy, that I think that this is a situation where, like, the Niners just laying 6.5, I have no interest in. And it's not just like, okay, I have no interest, I'm just not going to play the game. I think we are then now getting value on the Colts at the 6.5 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I was also really eyeing an under. I think 46.5, 47 points is also too much, but it's a Monday night game. I like to see how some things pan out over the week / the weekend, especially if, like, I mean, last week I was all over the Monday night games way ahead of time. But if there's not something I absolutely love, like, I'm going to do a deeper dive on this game. I know you are too, as the days come closer. But at the bird's eye, I like the under the most probably. I would lean San Fran, but it's already moved the other way. Like, I looked at it, it was minus 6.5. I think what is it, minus 6 now?
No, they're 6.5 still.
There are 6.5s? What's the consensus line, though?
6.5.
Oh,
Kalshi at 6.5. Novik at 6.5. Bookmaker, Penny, Circa at 6.5.
Okay. Yeah, Hard Rock has 6. Bet365. Even DK has 6 at minus 112. So it's probably going to move towards the Colts. But yeah, no, that's where I stand. That's another successful stream, if you ask me there, Eric.
Absolutely. Let's run through everything that we bet so far one time. So right now, I am on Eagles Commanders under 44.5. Do you have anything for Thursday?
Yeah, I have 2 plays for Thursday. I have the under of 44.5, and I have Kyren Williams to score a touchdown.
Very nice from Jake. For me, I have Commies Eagles under 44.5. On Saturday, also, Jake on Green Bay money line. I like the under at 47.5, though that might be gone. I'll look for 47, hopefully. Jake on the Saints -4. Jake on the Titans -3. I'm on the Giants.
No. Kansas City.
You're on Kansas City -3, excuse me. I'm on the Giants +3. Jake on the Chargers Cowboys under 49.5. Jake on the Jaguars Broncos under 47. Jake and I both liking New England plus money line. And I'm liking the Colts +6.5. And in the prop market here, Jake on the Kyren anytime touchdown. I like Smitty anytime touchdown. Jake likes Aaron Jones over rush yards, and then Bijan over rush yards, Falcons, Cardinals. Jake likes Kenny G Tutty. I like DK and JMO Tutty and Jahmyr Gibbs to break the record. for an anytime touchdown on Sunday, though. Those odds are ridiculous, but in a parlay, I will probably absolutely have that in some capacity. So shout out to everybody for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on X, hit that follow button as well. I'll be on stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, to break down this Thursday night game, betting every single boost, betting anytime touchdowns, first touchdowns, finding EV bets. So make sure you're tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Jake and I will figure out when we're streaming with Christmas. So I'll definitely see you guys before then, though, to say what's up and Merry Christmas. But see you guys next time, boys. Appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.